up, world? It's your boy Joseph Womack, aka Blessit253. Y'all know what time it is. Yo, I'm gonna start you off with a story. Now, the story goes, there was a man. His name was Boaz, and Boaz fell in love with a lady, and what happened was she was a Midianite, and they ended up getting married. And if you don't know the story, in some of the history books it shows that when they got married, they consecrated their marriage that night, and the next day Boaz woke up dead. Now the story is about Ruth, and being a Midianite, you know the story that they had Obed, and Obed had Jesse. Now the story goes that a Midianite was not supposed to get married to those kind of people, the Israelite people, the Hebrewite people. And so Jesse fell in love with one. That's the way the story goes. And he wasn't going to have a kid by her because he was scared that he was going to die, just like his grandfather did. And so he loved her, but he never touched her. And it was sad for her because she wanted to have kids. And, you know, the whole situation down the line was, if you had a kid, especially a boy, and you're a woman and something happened to your husband, guess what? You got someone to take care of you. But if not, that was a tough life to live, not having a son. So what happened was, story says that one night Jesse was drinking, and what happened was he had another wife that he had. So what he did was they made a plan that when Jesse was drunk, that one lady would be in there with them, but they'll switch out. And so what happened was they got him drunk, and once that whole situation went down, the lady came in, got pregnant, and left. Now, Jesse did not know what was going on, but he found out later on that the lady was pregnant. And she was pregnant with a baby named David. Yes, listen to the story, y'all. And it's so powerful because he didn't accept her pregnancy, but he loved her. But he wouldn't kill her. Back in the day, them days, you cheated, and guess what? They was going to stone you. They were going to put you away. You were dead. You were gone. But what happened was he loved her, and he took in her and the child, but he didn't accept the child. He had other women. He had other kids by different women and stuff like that. But all of a sudden, here comes a little baby named David. And he kept him out in the field for no one to know that that was her child. He didn't accept her or the child. So David was out in the field. David fell in love with God. David was growing up. He was the one in the field worshiping God because he wasn't accepted by his own father. And a lot of times, I'm gonna put this story in there too. A lot of times when a guy is not accepted by his own father, it hurts, because us as men, we need someone to look up to. And if we can't find someone to look up to, we look down at everybody else. Man, that's another story. Me being a guy, I understand all that. But it's so important because David, he wasn't accepted in the house, he was accepted in the field. Now, the story came where Saul was doing stuff that he shouldn't have been doing. And God came to his prophet and told him, go down to Jesse's house, and I got a king down there. Because Saul lost the glory of God. And God was like, hey, the men choose him. I got a king down there in Jesse's house that I need you to go get. So God's anointing, God's man went down there and talked to Jesse, and it's amazing just that alone, because when Jesse heard the story about what was happening, God was going to anoint a new king, hey, he grabbed all his 7 kids and he left David out in the field. And what's so powerful about that was David was out in the field, so David could have been on a hill looking down like, who is this coming? David saw him coming way before anybody else. But David's on the hill like, why is he at my father's house? Why didn't they call me in? But David's like, you know what? It's cool. I understand it. I'm not accepted by him. He don't think I'm his son, but that's cool. But what's so crazy about it, inside the house, the prophet, he was anointing all the kids, trying to anoint him, but the oil wouldn't come. Because God said, whoever you pour this on and it comes out is my next king. So Jesse had all his boys go in front of him. And he chose the oldest And the story was, men choose on the outside, God choose on the inside. And after he went to the 7, he said, man, nothing poor. He said, you got to have another child. Now think about it. This is so powerful because Jesse didn't think David was even his. And all of a sudden, he's pouring it and nothing comes out. His choice was, these are my kids. The other one, that's not mine. No, he's not mine. And all of a sudden, here he comes and God's letting him know, this child is yours. So he's like, you got to have one more child. Jesse's like, oh no. Not that one I left in the field. That one's going to be king. And all of a sudden, he said, I got one in the field, but he's not king worthy. He don't look like a king. That's not my child. And what's so crazy about it is like, he said, go get him. And he told everybody in the house, we are not sitting down until he gets here. Now think about it, his brothers didn't even like him. Didn't even accept him. But now they got to stand up until he gets there? And now this is the first time that David walks in the house and everybody's standing and looking at him like, don't tell me this is a king. After all the things we did to him, after all the things we mistreated him, when it was cold outside and he couldn't come in, when we gave him a little bit of food and we eating a bunch and he doing all this stuff for us and he might be king? Man. So I'll put something in here. What could you do to people? You never know what time you're going to bring, that they'll be in a position to bless you if you treat them right. So all of a sudden, the guy gets the oil and he looks at David. David comes in the house. Think about it. He came in the house with dirt on his face. His muddy shoes, whatever he had, being in the field. He got sheep stuff all over his shoes. He smelled like crap. All of a sudden, he comes in the house. They look at him. He takes a little horn, pours it, and it rolls all over David. From that day right there, he's anointed king. What's so crazy about it is when he's anointed king, he wipes everything else off, then he goes right back out to the field. His life didn't change yet. He's still in love with God. He's called to be, God's like, I know you're my king, but I'll send you when I'm ready. So the story is so powerful. David's out in the field doing what he's doing, taking care of his dad's sheep. Everybody don't look at him. They look at him like, hey, king, but I don't believe it. But all of a sudden, there's a war going on. The story of Goliath, David and Goliath. And Goliath, for 40 days, is out there yelling and screaming at God's people. And Saul, who's head and shoulders over everybody else, was supposed to be the one to go out and fight him. He was scared. Fighting that big old giant? No. So for 40 days, Goliath was out there yelling, hey, we're going to settle this. Send me your best fighter, and me and him will go head to head, and if I lose, they'll all serve you. But if y'all lose, y'all gonna serve us. And he's defiling their God, yelling and screaming. Who's this big bad God that you guys are talking about? Now, David wasn't even there. David was not even around at that time. David was in the field with the sheep, singing, playing his harp, doing his thing, praying, doing whatever he does in the field, laughing with his little sheep. But his dad calls him. He said, I need you to take this stuff, this food, to your brother. David like, all right, I'll do it. So he takes his stuff. His father sends him. Watch this. The father sends him. All of a sudden, he gets to the battle, and when he gets there, Goliath comes out. And David's just like, okay, I got my food, I'm doing my thing. But something catches his ear. Faith come by hearing. Catches his ear, y'all. He hears this thing, Goliath yelling and screaming. He puts his little horse, whatever he had away, took his basket and puts it down and he said, hey, I need an answer here, y'all. I need somebody with some answers. What is the king going to give to the person that kills this fellow? Now, David already got in his mindset, I'm going to kill him. It's over. His life is done today. But I just want to know what's going to be given to the person that kills this man. This uncircumcised Philistine that's talking about my God. What's going to happen? They said, man, hey, he's going to give you some wealth. Your family's gonna not have to deal with taxes no more, and you get his daughter. It was like, man, all that, I get that because I'm gonna kill him. This is what comes along with it. But what's so crazy about it, think about it. He's about to be rich, he's poor, he's in the field. His family are sheep herders. They're not wealthy at all. So I can be rich, I go from the field to the palace, cool. My family don't have to pay taxes? Now think about his family. The people that hate him, they don't have to go to war anymore. They don't pay taxes. They're out from that. Man, same people that mistreated me. You mean I get to save their life? They get to get out of jail free card because of me? Okay, even though they don't like me, I'll do it. What else? And I get a wife? I'm just a shepherd boy. I'm in the field doing. I don't know if anybody gonna like me, but hey, guess what? I'll take all that. So he said, okay, and then his brother overheard. You only here to see a fight. Nah, forget what y'all saying. I don't care what y'all saying. I need to go see Saul. What's so crazy about it, Saul looked upon his appearance and said, you're nothing but a boy. This man right here been fighting this whole youth. He said, man, listen, hey, shut them words up real quick. Listen to what I gotta tell you. God's gonna give me his head. And Saul's like, hey, it's crazy, look at it. Saul, who was scared to fight him, was trying to tell a young man not to fight him. Say, man, shut all that nonsense up. You scared. You talking out of your flesh. I'm talking out of my spirit. Watch what happens. So Saul's like, hey, all right, no one else want to fight? I don't want to fight him. Hey, let's get you dressed. Let's go ahead and put my armor, Saul's armor on you, and send you out there. So they put it on him, and David's like, hey, this armor is cool and all, but hey, it hasn't been improved yet. I don't know how to work this stuff. He said, all I need is my little slingshot, and that's it. I'll get some rocks on the ground. I'll get some smooth rocks. That's all I need. And the guy's like, he's crazy. And like, all right, do what you gotta do. And what's so crazy about it was David went off his testimony. He was in the field, a lion came, got a sheep, killed it. A bear came, did the same thing. So he's going, hey, I've been through this before. This little slingshot has been approved. I know how to use this thing. So he goes down there and he fights Goliath. Goliath yelling and screaming. David tells him off, put a little rock in there, slings that bad boy, hit him right in the head. Takes Goliath's sword, cuts his head off. Becomes king that day. Jealousy goes all over the kingdom. Saul gets upset with him. The story is, Saul chased him his whole life from there. Tried to kill him. David wasn't even king yet. But what's so crazy about it, David knew how to be an outcast. From that day forward, he did not live with his own family anymore. He lived in a palace. He lived as a king. But he was chased his whole life. But all of a sudden, here comes this day where Saul and Jonathan, his best friend, dies. His brother-in-law dies. But the kingdom was about to be destroyed, so Jonathan had a son named Motivational. And he was young, and the handmaid heard what happened, so they picked him up and ran. And all of a sudden she trips, and Motivational falls, and he's paralyzed from his waist down. Crippled at a young age. So what happens? He ended up hiding. Motivational ended up hiding behind a pawn shop down in Lolibar, where he was not standing up for what he was supposed to be. He was a king's son. He was next in line after his father to be king. And now he's behind a pawn shop, just laying there. And one day David said, is there anybody left in the house of Saul that I could show love for Jonathan? And he looked through the book and said, there's one left. There's one guy left, Motivational. Jonathan had a son. He's down in Lolibar, and he's a beggar, and he's crippled. And David said, go get him. So David knew how it felt to be left out, how to be looked upon as an outcast. And he went down there and got him. And Motivational, what happened was he looked upon himself, he's like, what do you want with an old dog like me? David said, this day forward, you will eat with me in my house. He said, your father was a good friend of mine, cousin of mine. So I'm your uncle, and I'm going to take care of you. From that day forward, the future child ate in the house of David. And I love that story. I love that story because you have to change the way you see yourself. Just because people look at you and you think they're talking about you, but the biggest thing is how you see yourself. If you change that and know that you are powerful, you are great, you got something in you that no one can take away. The important thing is you can shut it down. You gotta bring it forward. You gotta push yourself. You gotta keep on moving forward. When everybody else is talking about you, everybody else is bringing you down, when your family talking about you like you're crazy, your environment saying you ain't gonna be nothing, when you say you ain't gonna be nothing, you gotta keep on pushing. You gotta keep on moving. You gotta keep on saying, yeah, yesterday was hard, but guess what? I made it. I'll keep on doing one thing at a time. I'll keep on putting this puzzle piece together, one piece at a time. You keep on doing that. You keep on moving. You keep on telling yourself you're great. You keep on telling yourself, hey, I'm gonna do something in my life. They don't understand. They might be marking me down. They might mark me off and say, hey, I'm not gonna do nothing. Maybe my dad wasn't nothing. Maybe he never grew into his purpose. Maybe my brothers never grew into a purpose. But guess what? I'm gonna go into my purpose. I'm gonna keep on moving forward. I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna be the one that let everybody else know that, hey, you can be successful. You can be that fire that lights everybody else. When they look at you and they be like, man, if he can do it, yo, I surely can do it. I saw what he did, and he don't got the skills like I have, but guess what? He stuck with it. He kept on moving forward. He was the one that we used to talk about. Man, he ain't gonna be nothing. He stutters. How is he able to talk? He can't even read. How is he able to be a motivational speaker? How is he able to talk to millions of people? He's shy. There's no way that can happen. All of a sudden his gift rises up. And he's talking to millions of people, and they're coming writing notes because what he said is so powerful. And he's thinking like, not too long ago, I didn't even know this exists inside me. I didn't even know that this was here. But I unlocked it. I used my key that God gave me and said, you gotta unlock it yourself. I can't do it for you. You gotta unlock it. You gotta understand you got the gift. You gotta turn the key. You can't just put it in there. You gotta turn the key. And turn the key is the process you take to keep on opening up your gift. So you gotta move, y'all. Yo, it's 2019, y'all. Think about it. What you did the years before, you started a lot of things, but didn't finish. Now it's time to go back and finish it. Are people looking at you like you're crazy? Like, you finishing that now? Yes. I didn't get it. I dropped out of high school. I'm getting my GED. I'm finishing that. I dropped out of college. Guess what? I'm going for it. I'm going for my doctorates. People think I'm crazy. Well, that's this many years. But guess what? If I do it now, my kids are going to follow. I'm just not doing it. I might be old, but guess what? If I set the bar now, my kids know, hey, mom went back to school at this time, or daddy went back to school at this age, and they got that, what's stopping me? What's stopping me from going back to school and getting it done? I don't have to be a statistic. I could be a leader. Yo, I'm telling y'all, now is the time. Forget what everybody else said. Forget what you say about yourself. Y'all gotta make it happen. Move forward. Learn from your mistakes. Powerful thing. Are you just going through your problems? Or are you growing from your problems? Think about it. Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy Joseph Womack, aka Blessit253. Subscribe, like. Y'all know. Hey, let's go to work. Be blessed.